Hello. So this is my 2-2 Crossman rat catcher that I bought a few months ago. Really enjoy using it. It's a great little gun. Comes with silencer, scope, very accurate over about 30, 35, 40 yards, feet rather. Great bit of kit. Yeah, it's kind of the distance I want to shoot, and I've enjoyed using it. But like all rifles, you can really only use them in the daylight unless you have some sort of NVGs, and NVGs cost a sweet fortune. So, a bit of googling and a bit of YouTubing, and a few guys have made up their own infrared night sights. So it didn't seem particularly complicated, so I thought I'd give it a go, and then bought almost all of this. In fact, all of these parts came from Amazon. So I'll run through the parts, give you an idea of what I got. This is a small reversing camera, 16mm lens. Came with a 16mm lens. Other people have bought them and had to change the lens for a 16mm lens. This one came with a 16mm lens. It has adjustment, goes in and out. I can pull this out and show you. That's got adjustment on there. That's a 16mm lens. It comes with an infrared filter on the back of this lens. You have to tap that out, break it out, and then you otherwise you won't be able to pick up the infrared light. This fitting is a standard compression 40 to 32mm reducer picked up from B&Q. Use my Dremel just to clean out these kind of ports in the side, just recessed it just so that allows the camera to have a bit of an interference fit in there. Fits in there quite nicely. There you go. Doesn't matter if it's quite straight or not, doesn't really matter as long as it can pick up with the crosshairs on the scope. Scope is a 40x32, came with the rifle, stock bit of kit, not much adjustment on there, however the left, right, up and down adjustments are pretty finite and very, very accurate. Screen, 5-inch TFT screen. This is a standard car reversing screen. I've mounted it to the actual scope body using a standard rifle scope mount with the top part removed, so it just allowed me to cut the base of the camera mount down and then clamp it in position. Pretty straightforward. Battery pack. This takes loads of 1.5 batteries. However, I didn't go down the LiPo or the rechargeable route. I went for this. No particular reason other than it allowed me to mount it to the rifle. This is the IR torch, again Amazon's finest. You can see what I've done here. Probably I've used another scope mount and mounted it to the scope itself, using the mount, and again another mount on the side. It's kind of half a rifle scope mount that I've then drilled and screwed into the back of the battery pack. It kind of sits at a sort of 45-degree incline, just really so I can get access to the battery port at the back, and the on-off button. Also, it doesn't impact the loading or firing of the gun at all. It doesn't really add very much weight to it because the parts are, let's face it, pretty light. The cabling, this all came with the gun apart from the adapters and connectors. Just one word of advice: when you look to buy a camera and screen, just check on the photos what type of connections you've got. I think it came with RCA connections, and I had to get some adapters essentially for the yellow video cable link up. That being said, it wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't particularly complicated. Yeah, there she is pretty much. I can turn the power on. That'll power up the screen. At the moment we're looking at the light in my workshop. If I turn on the torch, correct that, it was on already. That gives you the IR beam. That's with its standard ambient light in the workshop. That's with the IR beam on. I've set the scope, zeroed the scope in already, and it hits bang on the nail every time. Probably, I'll try and move this across so you can see a little further down range. That's looking further out into my workshop. Let me adjust this slightly so you can come up. I've got a piece of board over the back there that I put there we are, a piece of electrical tape on. So if I go and turn off my light in the workshop, I should be able to pick up. Yeah, you can. You should be able to pick that up. I can see it. You can't. Let me move you in. Yeah, it doesn't really pick up too well on here, unfortunately. But rest assured, I can see that clear as day through there. Other people have probably done better videos of this part, not particularly technical minded as far as this sort of thing goes. But rest assured, if you can see that piece of electrical tape or a rat or whatever you're trying to shoot through that scope, when you pull that trigger, you're going to hit it every time. It is a very, very accurate little gun. So it's 2.2 gas powered with the my kind of DIY IR setup on it. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to getting out and giving it a go. Thanks for watching. Hope it was useful.